Good day, grade 8s and 9s. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and like all my videos and watch all my videos till the end. And today I'm going to do the fractions, but on fractions, I'm going to look at comparison or comparing fraction. And when we compare fraction, we're going to use lesser than, this sign, lesser than, equal to, and greater than. Right, we have a fraction here. We know what is a fraction, right? We have a numerator and a denominator, right? So we have this fraction 5 divided by 8 and 3 over 5. We're comparing this fraction. Which one is greater? Which one is lesser? Which one is equal? Now in here, the first thing that we're going to do, comparing fraction, you look at the denominators. The denominators here, we have 8 and 5. 8 and 5. Now in 8 and 5, we're going to make them the same. That's the first thing that we do. You can't compare the fraction without making or having your denominators the same. So how do you make the denominators the same? You rewrite the fraction, and then you take the denominator of the other fraction, you times the, which is the denominator of the other fraction is 5, you times by it, and then you write the second fraction, you take the denominator of that fraction, which is 8, you times by 8, you times by 8. So 5 times 5 is going to be 25, 8 times 5 is going to be 40, and 3 times 8 it's 24, and then 5 times 8, 5 times 8 is 40. So now comparing these two fractions, you can now compare because the denominators are the same. But now where are you going to look at? You're going to look at the numerators. Now it simply means that this numerator 25 and 24, 25 is greater than 24, so we're going to put greater there. So we go back to those ones, we say 5 over 8, which is the initial ones, these ones. 5 over 8 is greater than 3 over 5. Okay, let's go to number 2. Number 2, we're comparing these two fractions, but the denominators are not the same if you're looking there, so we're going to make them the same. We're doing the same thing. We write the fraction, and then we take the denominator of the other fraction, you times by it, you times by it, and then you rewrite the second fraction, you take the denominator of the first fraction, you times here by it, and then it's going to be 7 times 8, it's 56, and then 10 times 8, it's 80, and it's going to be 50 over 80. Now the denominators are the same, you look at the numerators, so that means this fraction is greater than this fraction. Or you can say the initial fractions 10 over 7 is greater than 5 over 8. Now let's look at these fractions now. Let's look at these ones. So they're both negative, but the greatest negative fraction here is the one that is smaller, right, according to the number lines, or you can go back to integers if you to still remember that. Now the denominators here are not the same, so we're going to make them the same. Okay, how do we make them the same? It's the same thing that we've done in the previous one. So we times by 4, times by 4. Where do we get the 4? Here. And then we times by 7. We times by 7. Where do we get the 7? There. Right. So it's going to be, there's a negative there, it's going to be 20 over 28, and then there's a negative there, it's going to be 21 over 28. So between the two, the numerator that is greater is that one. No, the numerator that is greater is this one, right? It's this one. So that means this fraction is smaller than this one. So it simply means that this fraction is greater than this. Guys, if you look at my questions, all of the first fractions are greater. That's not always the case, guys.